And there's an explanation of them here for it. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to click on it. It's link 4 at jimstonefreelance.com. On the very front page in the center column, it's link number 4.
Right.
It'll open up a picture, and it says, the scale of measurement is denoted by these numbers. MYG004, which was the true epicenter, looks like a smaller measurement than MYG011, which was away from the epicenter, because, but in fact it was much more powerful. Because if you look on the scale of measurement here, the MYG004 is graphing out at 2800, and MYG013 is graphing out at 1500. Now, this is something that's really, really important to know. These 4 seismograms were reported to be from the same quake, and that is critical to know. Because when you look at the first 2 seismograms, we have obviously 2 separate seismic events in the same seismogram.
Yes.
And yet you look at IBR 003, which was the one closest to Tokyo. There's no trace of the other earthquakes being of the quakes further north even being there. This means that these quakes that were further north were too small to register at IBR 003. So IBR 003 is a separately triggered seismic event.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. So why?
It's so that Tokyo could feel the shaking too, and say that they felt the earthquake. Because you've got to, if it's a 9.0, feel it in Tokyo at least.
Right.
Now, if you look at MYG011, and you look at the numbers, it graphs out at about 700, for the maximum negative peak. And this one is this is the seismic station that was closest to the media-reported epicenter for the 9.0. Well, then why is it the smallest reading? That's a big question. If it's the smallest reading from the seismographs in Japan, and it was way out on a peninsula, 24 miles away from this 9.0, why is it getting a reading of 5.6 or 5.67? I have to go to that. I got to go back to the Fukushima page here, because when you go back to the Fukushima page and you look, all these seismograms are well explained.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, at this point, Jim, what I'd like to do is shift gears. I want to ask you before the end of the show about this recent James Bamford article about the facility in Utah. Are you familiar with that?
I haven't been keeping up with the news lately. What is it? Is it about?
It's an NSA. I mean, it's an NSA facility. Yeah.
Because believe it or not, I lived within 15 miles of where that's going in for 10 years. It's right by a reserve base. One thing that that needs to be really well known about that particular NSA facility is that it's on a key internet backbone. Now, my website, I don't know if you guys realize it, but, for however many people are on this program, my website's running flawlessly. My website's on an extremely powerful server with an extremely good web provider, and it happens to be on a major internet backbone for Internet 2. This is the reason why. There's 2 reasons why that facility is going in Utah. Number one, it's on a major internet backbone for Internet 2, which is vastly superior to Internet 1. And it's got the Mormon population out there is extremely technically savvy, and the CIA and the NSA just absolutely love Mormons. They will hire Mormons left and right because Mormons they can be trusted, they can be they're intelligent, they're well educated. It's a double whammy. We've got
actually, Pete Peterson would say it's more than that. It's actually a plot.
It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. What's going to happen with that facility? That internet backbone that's going through that part of the country is so powerful that it can handle all the traffic, no sweat. And it's really powerful. I was there when they were putting it in. Let me tell you, every house has like 100 fiber optic lines wires going right up to the house, and they only need to tap off of one to give you like infinite speed internet. That's the type of system they put in out there. And we're talking. They put a system in Utah that is just crazy.
Well, talking about the grid going down.
Huh?
Wait, but talking about the grid going down, is there a significance to that? In other words, they're also, I understand, moving the capital underground, north of Denver and into north of Idaho. All of this underground. I mean, in other words, what you're talking about is a double sort of the ramifications of building a facility on what you call the internet backbone. It's not only that, but there are a lot of underground bases in that area.
I don't know anything about the underground bases. All I know is that if power goes out elsewhere, Utah's going to stay up. Right. It couldn't be worse. That NSA facility going in where it is, it couldn't be worse.
Meaning it couldn't be worse. It
couldn't be worse for us as a nation.
For the people.
Because if they're putting that NSA facility where it is, it's in a useless position for spying on the world. You don't put something that's going to spy on Afghanistan in the middle of Utah. You put something that's going to spy on Americans in the middle of Utah.
Interesting statement. Very interesting.
It's bad news. It's bad news. I'm totally against that going in. I've worked in these facilities. They're enormous. The one that I worked in was, at the end of a quarter-mile long tunnel out in the middle of the Pacific. It employed 5,000 people, and it was 70% vacant with 5,000 people working there. It was 70% vacant. Where we used to, when we didn't have anything to do, we'd go out we'd call it spelunking. Because you can go down all these dark corridors in the facility where no one's been for years, We used to have fun like that, and catwalks that are eaten out like aliens, or aliens, aliens where they got shot and their acid ate, some of the catwalks had holes in them like that. It was, it was a real cool place. So you'd go back in there and find old gas masks and old ordnance and all this old stuff that's been there for...
Were you in California?
No. This is out in the Pacific, and I'm not going to say where.
Oh, so it sounds like it says
this was in California. This is the U.S. has these enormous facilities in lots of places, and I'm not going to say it on the air because I don't want. I just got to express 5,000 people worked in this thing, and it was 70% vacant. That's
fascinating.
Big.
Yeah.
And everybody had room. It's not like they were cramped.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. We've got a lot of people that want to ask questions, and I do want to try to get to some of those questions. I guess I don't have my trusty helper here, so I'm going to try to, scan the questions on my own. Sorry, people, try to get to your questions. Feel free to use the call-in line on American Freedom Radio. We've got, I'm trying to rush here, we've got about 30 minutes or less for the show. And what I want to say here, though, is that as a former member of the NSA, would you say that there are white hats within the NSA?
The NSA is full of highly moralistic people that are very, very good. They work under a system of compartmentalized clearance so that when they're doing something evil, they don't know it because they don't know what their work is being used for. They don't know where the orders came from. But they are very, very good, honest, intelligent people.
Okay, that's great to hear.
It's the exact thing you don't want when they don't know what their work is really being used for, because they work hard at it and they're good at it, and boy, they will get the job done. It's just I can't think of a worse scenario. You got all these honest people who think they're doing a wonderful job, that are just who don't know
working for the man.
They don't know who they're working for. They don't know what their work is being used for. I had if you go, let's see here. I'm not ready to post that. Immediately after this program, I'm going to be putting back up an article on compartmentalized clearances and how these agencies work without even really knowing what their work is being used for.
Yeah, very good point.
Yes. This is you got good people not knowing what they're doing.
Okay, but in terms of this, remember I asked you about you've got this question on there about whether or not American companies are aware of Stuxnet. Do you think that because we've had sort of some kind of nuclear incidents happening in the New Madrid area, as you may be familiar. I don't know if you're following that. Dutch Sense is reporting on a lot of
I need to go off on. This is a major topic here. Okay. This is a major topic. If you ever heard anything important, oh gosh. Okay, first of all, the system that's affected by Stuxnet is the Siemens SCADA system, a supervisory control and data acquisition system. It's something where you can sit down and you can program on a computer and then upload what you programmed to your PLC and it'll run it. Okay, that's basically what it is. You can report back to the main office everything that's going on. It's a really, really slick system. After Fukushima, Siemens got out of the nuclear business because they knew what happened. They didn't announce it. They can't announce it as political suicide. They knew what happened. But here we have over 70% of America's nuclear facilities running the Siemens SCADA system that Fukushima was running when it got sabotaged and blew up. And it has been proven that this Siemens SCADA, that this Stuxnet virus that infects this system is running rampant in America. It's running rampant in Japan. It's a virus that'll get on your system. You won't even know it's there. In the past, it was spread via flash drives. I wouldn't doubt at all if it was upgraded now to just spread via emails. We have, it's a nightmare. This Stuxnet virus, I would not be surprised if it has infected a lot of the American nuclear facilities, and that is why now we're getting so much erratic behavior. And perhaps these nuclear engineers, I know that my Fukushima report made it at the Department of Nuclear Engineering out of Berkeley in California, Berkeley University. They got onto it, so no doubt they called their peers, and the nuclear industry is probably very well aware of this Stuxnet virus now. And so possibly, if you know...
So you're saying San Onofre, because there was some erratic stuff going on at San Onofre recently in California, down by San Diego, and also, again, back in near the Great Lakes area of the New Madrid Fault area. They've had some weird nuclear stuff going on there. So are you saying that this may actually be being triggered?
By this virus, yes. That is exactly what I suspect. That's exactly what I think. I have a segment on in the Fukushima report, either the Fukushima report or the nuclear blackmail report, which we could cover in another program. I don't want to get out of that in this one, where this virus, once it gets onto a computer or onto a controller, it wouldn't be anything at all if that controller had any way to link back to the internet through any of the PCs that it reported back to. There isn't any reason to believe that it would not be able to report back to Israel when it affected a new facility. So if this thing is running rampant in the U.S., we could possibly have a situation where an oil refinery gets affected. Boom, that shows up in Dimona as a military option.
So that all our nuclear facilities, et cetera, could be at the thumb of an Israeli right now.
You cannot prove it. You can't prove it, but it's sure.
Okay, we're going to be right back after this break.